lives depend on it. It's always just nice to let him in here because there's a lot of bits around the outside this field don't get cut. Where there's like a little stream where that oak tree, and then at the top there's some little triangles and things, so there must be at least an acre, probably nearly 2 total, not cut in here. Plus, if you can let him in soon after it's cleared, they'll clean up any bits of hay, which I can see a few little piles, because it was quite short stuff. It was a bit difficult to pick up every last bit, and where the bales have been stood, it's surprised how little brittle pieces have fallen off the bales. Away then. But it's surprising how they remember. As soon as I set off down his way, they knew exactly what was going to happen. I mean, they were down here last night, that probably someone would realise that the bales had gone. See, this is what I mean. I could have cut close to that, but I wasn't particularly bothered about getting every last bale. My old barney is getting more and more decrepit. It's never been the same since 14 years ago now. Somebody nicked the ridge stones off it, which weren't very good ones when they were there. And then and they also took stones off the end. Big doors are rotted off because there's no guttering on it, so they get wet. But to be fair, it's still more or less in one piece. And a couple of barn owls flew out of it this morning. I went up there and just put a sheep ring feeder in that door so they can't go in. But see what I mean? There's these triangles like here, where you can cut them. I used to always make a point of cutting it, and you would get like maybe 6 small bales off it sometimes. There's the barn owl just gone out again. I think that's what spooked him earlier. Flew out and they didn't know what it was. But they said they can't go in there. There's a bit of water by them trees, they can go out to the river. Yeah. Isn't that nice? Just here, there's an old thorn bush was growing by the wall. It died probably last year, and it's like it committed suicide. It literally jumped out of the ground and landed on the wall. Hey boo-boos! That's one of the better calves there. Hey bubs! That grey one's quite good. He's a fair age like that one. And that one, dark one there. She's this one here is heifer. She's due before too long. You don't often get chances to record them all in a close group like this. This is coming up. Is that Luke? Don't know what he's got on. Oh, it's a quad bike. Quad bike, 6-wheeled quad bike with a thing on. It's actually Luke on it. Luke Doughty. I mean, it's probably not absolutely inconceivable. This might eventually be a house. It's a nice situation. You have a really nice view, but it's basically a complete rebuild job because every last aspect of it is total shit. I mean, even the stone is quite poor, or very poor. There's just a bit slightly better on the ends and corners. So that's a really good calf. Look at that one. That cow in front of him. Sorry, that's his mother. He's probably the best one. But there's another very similar. I think they're obsessed with looking at that. What's up with it? It's not that exciting. I'll leave you to it. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. We got the sheep sheared on Saturday, which was 2 days ago, and we haven't really had any problem with maggots and flies and things, but there was a lamb just started with it. I never took him over to the shearing shed because he was on his own over there, and I came back and did him later, and it was a lot better next day, which is what you hope would happen. So that's, if he wasn't a lot better next day, he probably would be a goner, but he's fine. I looked at it this morning and just grazing right with the others, with a lot of blue stuff on his bottom. They are always obsessed with eating leaves. So I still have, I was talking about hay. I just picked these up yesterday because I did think it was very likely to be a big thunderstorm. We were really lucky we didn't get one because there was a massive one at Whitby with at least 20 millimetres in about 20 minutes. So I mean that could have been here, and it wouldn't particularly spoil the bales, except we'd have to wait 2 or 3 days for them to dry off again. You can't really put them in wet. So really, this hay here is about as good as we've ever made anywhere, because it was quite young stuff in here. And another thing worth maybe mentioning, this tree here, originally there was 2 more, one lower down, and then one halfway across, because this sort of area at the top of this field, about an acre maybe, was like an old stackyard to do with that barn, because this was a proper little farm in its day, and there was a house just into the next field above, a very small house, I must add. That barn there would be the most substantial thing on the farm. So I'm not sure it was deliberately done away with, or it just sort of fell into disuse, but it was relatively recently, like living memory almost. It has a name, geez, I can't think of the name now. It was still lived in until early 1900s. It may have been that during the war, the 1914-18 war, that might be when there was less people about, or whatever. Anyway, that's when it may have become unoccupied and very rapidly went to it. It probably had a thatched roof, thatched with heather or wick-on sieves, rushes, maybe. Just guessing. Fields over that side. The 2 fields over that side had a lot of this broom type grass in, which looks. It matures so early, it sets seed, that if you leave it till about now, it's just all dead stuff in the bottom like straw. And if it's a wet season it's absolutely disgusting, like rotted muck. I mean, it would still bale up as hay. It really spoils the hay. So this time I thought I'll try and get that super early. Firstly, it'll have a bit more value to it, less feed, presumably. But secondly, most importantly, is stop it from seeding. So those two fields, I got them done first week of June before that stuff seeded, in theory at least. It's probably too windy for this. And then to be fair, there was so much stuff on those two fields. I was quite impressed. I got 70 some bales on the first one, which is probably more than there was last year, end of June, middle end of June. So I just kept going. The rain was been surprising amount. I wouldn't say there was ample. There's definitely considerably less than last year. But the overall volume of the day is very good quality. And here we are. I was all built up last weekend before the longest day. 26th now. The last bales inside today. So there is still, by the road there's a couple of little narrow strips